If you've been watching Rings of Power up until this point and felt like the plot was moving too slowly and we weren't being given enough information, then you're probably going to hate this episode. So if you stuck around until the end of the last episode, then you know that Mount Doom erupted and the village was hit with a wall of hot ash. Well, somehow Galadriel is absolutely fine. She's not having any trouble breathing, not even so much as a cough. She absentmindedly wanders through the smoke, not helping anyone until she runs into Theo, who she hasn't even met before. They leave the village without trying to save anyone else and go off on their own little adventure where Galadriel teaches Theo about humility. But more importantly, she name drops Celeborn. Now, if you're like me and have been wondering this whole time, where is Celeborn? He and Galadriel are supposed to be married and have a kid at this point. Well, it turns out that they were married, but he went off to the war and never returned, even though he appears in Lord of the Rings. So instead of adding depth to Galadriel's motivations, all Amazon did was create a new plot hole. Meanwhile, Miriel and Isildur are actually helping people, like Valandil. Sadly, their friend Antimo died, but if I'm being honest, he never should have been there in the first place. He was bad at pretty much everything that he did. Isildur ends up getting caught in some burning rubble and presumed dead. Of course, we know that he isn't going to die. His horse Beric even leaves the group of survivors, possibly to go look for Isildur. I anticipate a scene that mimics Borrego helping Aragorn from Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Miriel and Valandil break the bad news to Elendil, who is visibly upset, but he also doesn't try to go back and see if his son is dead or not. We also find out that Miriel is blind. Her face isn't burned, so I'm not sure if it's a result of the ash or if it's from shock or something else. But they do make it back to the Númenórean camp, as do Galadriel and Theo, who find out that Bronwyn is still alive, unfortunately, as is Arondir. Halbrand survived, but he was injured, apparently severely enough that he needs to be taken to the elves for healing. Is this a clue that he's really Sauron and he's going to go convince the elves to make the Rings of Power? Honestly, who cares at this point? It would have been better if Halbrand had just died. Elendil's pissed off because he lost his son and wants to leave Middle-earth forever. Galadriel is also ready to give up the cause, but Miriel swears to return with a larger force from Númenor to finish what they started. And at that point, Elendil just turns around and cries, which I don't know why, but it made me laugh. Returning to the Hardfoot story, because things weren't already slow enough, the Hardfoots come upon a burnt forest where they typically harvest apples from at this point in their journey. The stranger tries his magic on one of the trees, but seemingly fails. It's only after they send him away that they find out not only did he fix the one tree, but he turned the entire area into a bountiful harvest. But it turns out that those priestesses have been following the Harfoot's trail, looking for the stranger, and when coming face to face with them, Nori has to open her big mouth and tell them which direction the stranger was headed, thinking that she's helping. It's only after one of the priestesses burns down all the carriages, all the Harfoot's belongings, does she realize she fucked up twice. So what does she do? Now that she's led to the downfall of her community, she takes her friend, her mom, and the Harfoot's leader, the one guy who has all the trails memorized, and goes after the stranger. A lot of sense she has. Returning to Khazad-dûm, Elrond makes his plea to King Durin, with the elves offering the Dwarven Kingdom 500 years worth of wood and other resources if they are given access to the Mithril mines. King Durin rejects this offer and explains to Prince Durin that there are too many risks associated with digging for Mithril and that the fate of the elves was decided ages ago, both of which are true. Prince Durin cries, which seems like an overreaction, not that Durin has a reason to distrust Elrond, but to me, it's hard as a member of the audience to care about this problem. It's not like we've seen elves dropping dead. Elrond isn't on his deathbed. All we've seen is a decaying tree, though it is shown that when they put a decayed leaf next to a chunk of Mithril, it reverses the decay. This leads to Prince Durin and Elrond going to dig for the Mithril without the permission of the king. They get caught, Elrond is kicked out of Khazad-dûm, and Prince Durin is disowned by his father. Disa tries to console him, but she goes on this weird rant where she's insulting the king, getting excited about the fact that he's going to die at some point, and that the two of them will get the Mithril and rule the kingdom. But not just this kingdom, but all of the mountains in Middle-earth. I'm not sure how the writers meant for this scene to be interpreted, but to me, Disa comes off as sounding evil, like an evil gold digger, or mithril digger in this case. And then in the Mithril mine, Balrog is awakened, proving King Durin correct, and Amazon gets this lore incorrect as well. This Balrog, known as Durin's Bane, isn't supposed to awaken until well into the Third Age, roughly 1,000 years before the events of The Hobbit. So we'll see what they do with that. The episode ends with Adar and the orcs once again at the village, and I'm really confused about how in this whole time they never ran into the survivors, especially since Adar and the orcs were at the village when Mount Doom erupted. But they're all kind of just looking around, trying to figure out what to do next. And Adar kind of casually says, hey, we're going to call this land Mordor now. Paraphrasing, obviously, but still, there's no fanfare to it. Sauron isn't even there. We're just calling it Mordor now. I have no idea how they're going to wrap up all the plot threads to lead into the next season. Who knows? Maybe they put all their efforts into writing the finale. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.